All right, so welcome everyone officially to the session. Some good sharing there. Thanks for everyone who shared. Some really good stuff that comes out of it. So we're going to have a look at today's quote and the related message. And we'll go into reading our lesson, meditating on it. We've done the 12 pathways now, but if anyone has any questions on any of that, maybe we could just do a little review on the 12 pathways. So I think everyone had mostly left the call when we did that yesterday, and that'll be our afternoon session done. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you, and okay, so can you see the screen all right? Someone can read the quote by Eckhart Tolle.
I can read that.
Right.
What will be left of all the fearing and wanting associated with your problematic life situation? Every day takes up most of your attention. A dash 1 or 2 inches long between the date of birth and date of death on your gravestone. To the egoic self, this is a depressing thought. To you, it is liberating.
So a great quote. I've quoted this before. He's really putting all the expectations and fears that occupy so many people's minds in their proper perspective, isn't it? So why do we desire or fear anything when these movements of the ego mind and its desires and fears are so impermanent? It's all going to be gone in 100 years. It's all going to be gone. So ask yourself this question. Why do I desire or fear anything when these movements of the egoic mind, what it desires or fears, are so impermanent? And just sit with that for a bit. It's also temporary. It comes and it goes. It's very fleeting. So why do I engage in this constant desire and fear? And then follow it up with this one. Will anything I'm fearing or anticipating right now matter at all in 100 years? And the answer is surely obvious. It won't matter at all. Whatever the drama is playing out in your life, in 100 years, it's going to be gone. Because your life, as you call it, is going to be over. So all the drama is going to be gone. As Eckhart says, that's depressing to the ego. Oh, what's the point? But to you, it's liberating. Your true self. It's like, oh, wow, that's just freedom from all the drama. So this kind of questioning is just another powerful way to let go of your attachments to the people, things, and events of this world, and free your mind. It's called inquiry. Just questioning, asking questions, it's pointers. So this was the methodology of a guy called Ramana Maharshi. I've talked about him, who was an enlightened sage guru who lived in the early part of the last century, 20th century. And yeah, he woke up when he was 16 and pretty much stayed in a state of connection to himself his whole life, and spent a lot of his life in samadhi, just meditating and blissing out. And he would just ask people when they came, he would ask them a simple question, and they'd tell their story, and he'd say, well, who suffers then? Telling me about suffering, who suffers? So that kind of inquiry directs the mind inward. And if you keep that inquiry going, you eventually see that who suffers is false. Who suffers? Oh, maybe the entity that's suffering is false. Eckhart Tolle had a similar realization. He said, I can't live with myself anymore. This was the thought that came in his extreme mental and emotional pain. And then he realized that there must be two selves. There's the one that's suffering, and then there's another I that can witness that and just be aware of it. And then isn't suffering. And that he saw the split in his mind, experientially, experienced it, and that brought him into connection with the truth, which collapsed his ego. And he woke up the next morning and it was gone, by and large. He had an overnight awakening, literally. And so it was a process of inquiry. He asked the question, or it was, I can't stand living with myself. And then the question was, well, who can't stand living with who? And he sort of describes it like, well, I saw clearly in my mind that there were two selves. And it became very clear to me that I wasn't the suffering self. And then the ego just collapsed, and the energy was so intense that he passed out. And he woke up the next morning, and the ego was gone, and he was in a clear state. He could perceive without all of that egoic interference. And he said he woke up and he just saw the light streaming into the window, as it did on many mornings. But that morning, he just said it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Just pristine, pure. So his awareness had been cleaned of the ego's thought system, and then he could see the pure awareness, or the light that underlies everything, shining through, and could remain in a state of peace. And he went out into London. He was living in London at the time, and even though he was on the trains and tubes in the day, he said it was just very peaceful. I stayed in this peaceful state, and it didn't go away. He stayed in it for the rest of his life, to one extent or another. I mean, there were fluctuations, but a deep peace never left him. So that was his hero's journey. The Matrix. These are the two videos you can watch in preparation for tomorrow's movie. It'll give you a lot more insight about the movie. So You're the One. This is about Neo's story, his hero's journey, which is a big part of the plot and the theme. It's a classic hero's journey that plays out. It's a journey of his awakening. There's all of the elements of the hero's journey. We'll go through the call, the initiation, the trials, mentors, guides, seeming obstacles, challenges, the death of the separate self, the resurrection into the true self at one-ment, and then the return back into truth. So this whole cycle, we look at this hero's journey very quickly over here. Where we this whole cycle is demonstrated, and they've broken it down into the 12 phases. So this 12 phases is what Hollywood uses, script writers use to write the scripts of these movies. They've refined the hero's journey into these 12 phases, and they know if they structure a plot on those lines, that it's going to be a gripping plot, because it's the archetype as the hero's journey that everyone resonates with. So when we look at the movie, we watch the movie, we'll see. We'll have this on screen, and I'll go, okay, so here we are on the stage. This is the call to adventure, or this is the refusal of the call, or this is tests, allies, and enemies, or the ordeal. And you see how it goes through these stages. So it's a great illustration of these 12 phases in a story. Okay, so watch that one. That's about his hero's journey. And then the second video focuses on the commentary the movie makes on modern society, which we were talking about in our shares. Given the rise in artificial intelligence, social media as well, let's add that in there, COVID-19 pandemic, mandatory vaccinations, we see these matrix-like features of our society over the last couple of decades. So actually the movie's even more relevant today than when the movie was released, because we've gone more in that direction, more into the matrix than we were 25 years ago. It was just kind of, it was gathering momentum there. The information age was, well in progress, but the internet was quite new. The technology was just developing. You see that still had the dial-ups, phones and stuff. That's and the mobile phones were old. So that's all changed now, and we now have we're much more jacked into the matrix. Our phones, devices are connected to the internet all the time, on social media, being tracked. As I said, if you're on social media, they're tracking you. They know exactly what your likes, your interests are, your preferences. And it's trying to control your choices and manipulate you into thinking and feeling in certain ways that people want. Vested interests, usually trying to sell you something, get your money or your time or attention. So great commentary, really, insightful video about it, that will prepare you well if you watch those two. It's a good preparation for tomorrow evening to really get a lot out of the movie, because you'll have a lot of those themes in, and then you'll be looking for them. Otherwise, it's easy to miss them. Okay, so any more comments, questions about any of that? The matrix. Yeah. So we'll cover that.
Oh no, would you mind, is it easy for you to send me the links to those clips, because I'm not getting my emails at the moment. Google Mail's told me my storage is full, and I've deleted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They're just trying to get me to sign up to pay for storage. But could you possibly send those in?
They're on Telegram, no?
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
You'll
That's
see
okay
them
then.
on Telegram. So if you can't get email, then
just the emails I'm not getting.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It'll be on Telegram. That both of them are there. You'll see if you tap the boxes, because Telegram brings up the box for the video. You tap the box, it'll take you to the YouTube video, and then you can copy the URL if you want to watch it on your computer or something. You can.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. It'll be in months. Oh, yeah, I see it. Got it.
Yeah. So what you get on the email is just duplicated in short. So the first bit, this is all on Telegram. What's not on Telegram is, once we get deeper, that's on Telegram. This is on Telegram, and the lessons on Telegram. It's all on Telegram until we get to deeper into the email, when we get to the daily schedule and stuff. This stuff's not on Telegram because it would be too much. A lot of it's repeated. Just so you know, but Telegram's a short version of this. Okay, so let's go into the lesson, shall we? So Lynn, do you want to read the key ideas for us in the original and the alternative form, and then the first paragraph, please? Okay, Lynn, still there? Lynn's disappeared.
I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Yes, I am. I don't see a meaningless world for myself, because I love this world. This planet to me is glorious, but I do feel upset because life is a little bit meaningless at the moment. I am upset. Sorry.
We'll go into some of those themes. Very interesting. Yeah.
I am upset because I perceive a meaningless world, and I know I'm just perceiving a meaningless life. I know it.
A meaningless life and a meaningless world, and that's the real reason why we're upset. I mean, this speaks to. Recall we had a quote by Viktor Frankl the other day. He's saying that man's search for meaning, people's search for meaning, is the primary driving force in our lives. If we don't have meaning, then there's this deep kind of existential crisis. We don't really know what we're doing here, and then we get upset easily. because there's no foundational meaning in our lives. So we're looking then to the external world for meaning. And we try and give it the meaning that we want it to have. We impose our meaning upon it. We project it upon it. But because it's a false meaning, it's actually meaningless. So then my expectations that I've woven, trying to give it meaning, get violated, and then I get upset. But I'm actually upset because I perceive a meaningless world. Do you see the logic of it?
Mm.
If I saw true meaning in the world, I couldn't get upset because I would be looking beyond the form. I wouldn't be looking to form outcomes to give me fulfillment. So I'm always upset because I perceive a meaningless world. And that's what's really upsetting me.
I'm really just pissed off because I can't sort my life out. That's it. It's simple as that. I'm annoyed at myself because I feel like I'm doing work on myself, and it's just not getting easier.
It's just a perceptual shift. If you could really, this lesson could be a great one for you to just go, okay, I'm only upset because I'm perceiving a meaningless world and a meaningless life, and you're trying to sort it out and you're trying to fix it, right? But you can't fix it from the same level of thinking you're at when you created the problem. Yeah, significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. So you have to transcend that level of thinking, because that level of thinking is the meaningless life and world that you're perceiving.
I go between the two. There are times when I know I'm learning loads. I know I'm learning lessons. I know things are happening because they're showing me, ways of thinking that I need to change, and I can see all that. And then, my photos, I know when I share them, and it helps people see joy. Like, I don't, whatever joy I'm seeing, I know I can share that. And just the other stuff, it's giving me a headache. God, my body's hurting today.
Okay, so it's all you can just observe that and say, if you can really internalize this lesson. So I'm upset because I perceive a meaningless world.
Yeah.
That's why I'm upset. Because the ego's whole thought system is meaningless, and so its perceptions are meaningless. And when you start to become aware of that, it's quite upsetting.
Yeah.
But beyond the upset, beyond any resistance to this lesson, lies truth. Lies a state of mind where you're not upset, because you do perceive the true meaning of the world, and that is happy and joyful. So you want to read paragraph 1.
The importance of this idea lies in the fact that it contains a correction for a major perceptual distortion. You think that what upsets you is a frightening world, or a sad world, or a violent world, or an insane world. None of those, actually. Oh no, sad. Yeah, sad. All these attributes are given it by you. The world is meaningless in itself.
Okay, so let's just look at that. What is he saying there?
Oh, yes. It's us focusing on the illusion, the negative illusions that we create. Oh, what makes us miserable, makes me miserable.
Well, that's good. I know. So the world is meaningless in itself. It's like a blank canvas, but what you project onto it gives it the meaning that it has.
Yeah.
So it has no inherent meaning. This is what he's trying to say. Irrespective of the appearances, whatever the sensory data that's coming in from your senses, it's how you interpret that is the key. And how you interpret that is a product of your thought system. So if we look at fact, I'll show it in a bigger form there. We look at this. It illustrates the levels of mind quite well. Your perception, so you perceive a sad world and it makes you sad. You've got sensory data coming in that you think justifies that perception, right? You see things in the external world, whatever that may be, you know, roadkill, animals dying, your life,
relationships.
So yeah, okay. So you perceive that coming in, and then if you react to that from your current programming, which is made up of a core desire still to be a separate self, and the belief that goes with that. Okay, so I'm not worthy, I'm unlovable, I'm not good enough. These kinds of beliefs are, you know, really at the core of every separate self. Then a thought system based on that. Okay, well, if I'm unlovable, then I don't deserve to be loved. Therefore, I'm not going to get love in my life. I don't deserve love. So I have situations in my life that show me that I'm not lovable and I don't deserve it. And then I have emotions that come with that. Then I feel unloved, I feel separated, I feel abandoned, maybe I feel angry. You know, why is this happening to me? I feel like a victim, I feel unfairly treated, and on it goes, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of that makes up a perception. And then I feel miserable. And I'm like, oh, why am I so depressed? Because it's the whole thought system that underlies it.
Yeah.
That now meets. This is like the meeting ground of your thoughts and emotions, which come from within, and the so-called external world, which is being filtered in through the senses, the five senses. And in where they meet is your perception. And so he's saying you're upset really because what you're seeing is outside of you, the world outside of you is actually meaningless. And you've created all the meaning that it has for you. And that is a distortion of truth. And when you distort the truth and you deny the truth, that's the upsetting. The denial of truth is the upset, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. The world I've made, the world your ego's made, is meaningless. And it doesn't want to acknowledge that, because it's if you see that nothing I see really means anything, and I've given everything I see all the meaning it has for me, and it's just a meaningless world, it's kind of the end of the game, isn't it? Why would you carry on in a meaningless world? The separate self's existence is brought into question, and will ultimately be undone by this line of questioning. So there's a lot of resistance in the ego. It wants you to keep believing that it has meaning, and it will keep projecting its meaning onto the situation and interpreting things according to this old default program, which is meaningless. It has no ultimate meaning. It's false, but it's upsetting you. So I'm upset because I see a meaningless world. Do you see why he's saying that? If you can acknowledge this, then it's this idea of meaning. This is why he focuses on meaning so much in these first 20 lessons, because it's the key to the undoing. You realize that I've just given everything I see the meaning it has for me, and it really is meaningless. And everything that's upsetting me is actually meaningless. It's upsetting me because it is meaningless. And somewhere on a level at the core, you realize that it is meaningless. But there's another part of your mind that resists that. It doesn't want to see that it's meaningless. It wants to continue on this track of believing falsely, belief, thought, emotion, perception, because that keeps Lynn, the character Lynn, and the separate self going in your mind. And so that's the struggle you're facing. It's like, do I let it all go? I let go of Lynn and Lynn's drama and the whole story, which the separate self doesn't want, and is terrified of that. Or do I let it all go and allow the true self to take over? And I desire only to be my true self, only to be the one self, which far transcends Lynn and anything Lynn can think of and do, and any of Lynn's drama. And that's the struggle in all of us, you know, and that's the journey, or the hero's journey of awakening. And it's a done deal. Ultimately, you will choose the one self, but you vacillate at the moment. So there's a big struggle internally, isn't there?
Yeah, it's annoying because then I keep
And-
attracting back the reflections. That's you know, where the pain comes in more. Then, you know, keep attracting back the person that's going to have a go at me and tell me I'm horrible and all those things. So that's, yeah, it's just annoying when I know things that should stop. I should stop it happening.
Well, it's okay, because that person is giving you the lesson you need to undo it. See, so the program is still there in your mind, and you're still giving it a meaning. So the trigger's there. It comes up in your dream because you've still got belief, thought, and emotion that's underpinning it, which needs to be released. So now, when that happens, and he comes in and, you know, says something which tells you, you know, you're not worthy, you're not lovable, that's the opportunity to confront this whole false belief system and deny it and undo it and let it go. You see?
The thing is, I can do that, and then I feel completely calm, and the pain's gone. I feel completely calm, and then it just, like, you know, something happens, or I don't even know, and it all just, you know, it clicks back in. Like, oh my God, it's gone. You know, that false story had gone, even if it was just briefly.
So if you can do it briefly, then it's showing you that it's possible.
Yeah.
You can get brief respite and you had some peace. It feels like it's gone. It's showing you it's possible. But this is a deep-seated program. Right? This goes to the very core of your self-concept, which has got to be undone. The belief that you're not worthy of love and that you deserve to be treated this way, which goes to the core of the ego, which says, you know, I have actually separated from my source, and I am guilty, therefore, and I do deserve to be punished, and I do deserve to be treated this way because I've denied love, and now I deserve the punishment. You see, that's the program that's running underneath it, which is very deep-seated in most people. So as these things, I know it can seem to be never-ending, but as these situations come up, you have another opportunity to confront this whole thought system and see its falsity and let it go. And that's all you can do. You let it go in the moment, you find peace, and if it comes back, you do it again, and you do it again. And every time you do it, you letting go of another layer of it, and at some point it won't come back. So just keep on. You know, you're on the right track. On Sunday, don't miss. Are you working on Sunday? Because really, just join us. It's
Oh God, I'm terrified of Sunday. No, I'm dog sitting. I'm actually in a lovely house out in the country with two lovely little dogs at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm still here Sunday.
Sunday. Okay. So Sunday, don't miss that session. You know, it's going to expose all of this, but it's the key to liberation. Because if you can really see the separate self, your self-concept, and it's highlighted to you, then you can let it go. And that's what Sunday is going to help you do. So we're really going to expose it, and then there's a turnaround process, which you work with it, and then the next week we turn it around. So we're going for the ego's jugular here. It's like, okay, we're gonna expose this whole thing. So there's no hiding away from it. It's there. It's out in the open. You see it very clearly, and in the exposing of it, the bringing into awareness of it is a huge letting go opportunity, because you can then turn it around and let it go.
And I was going to say, Lynn, your suggestion the other day of Susie forgiving Susie was really, really good. And only today I've written exactly about what you said, to forgive myself for believing in all these lies, because I've never achieved in anything, but they were my beliefs about myself. You know, and it's got all those about feeling unlovable, undeserving, you know, and it's really worked for me to say I, Susie, because I could see I was projecting that same stuff out, and it was coming back in ways, because I'm trying to deny everybody else's love. I don't really want to feel it because of how I feel deep down about myself, not about anybody else. But I've really touched on the stuff that you've been saying, being unlovable, the lies that I've told myself, how I've been holding on to them and not letting them go, because I've told myself lies about myself, and that's all it is. And that's what kept repeating as the ego kept getting bigger and stronger. And at times I used to fall for it, but now I've started to see, do you know what I mean? So that really helped me. So I just want to share that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny because since I've asked about that, I've come up against such massive resistance. I know it's the ego. I've kept thinking, oh, I've got to do it. And every time I've gone to do it, something's come up and I've just not started it. And then you sent that message this morning. Was it this morning, Susie? I can't remember, saying, or yesterday. I thought, oh my God, I still haven't done it. And then obviously I haven't been able to today because I've had to come over to this job. But and I've just been able to see it really clearly. Even knowing that, I've still had the resistance come up and that's stopped me doing it.
But you just have to say, I know I've got resistance, but I'm still going to do it, and quickly write, Lynn, and then just see what comes up.
I brought a big pad with me to do it, so I brought it with me.
Is anyone doing that, writing out the forgiveness? It's
yeah, I've been doing it, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it 35 times or whatever. But I think what Lynn had said to me really hit me, because I know I've done so much work like this, and I seem to have forgiven everybody, the next door, cat, everything, whatever, but I've never actually done it for myself. So any time I'm feeling something towards the husband or the dog or anything, I'm just writing, Susie, I forgive, you know, for whatever's coming back, because I know it's my doing, not anybody else's.
I'm far madder at me than I am at anybody else, than I've ever been at anybody else. I'm far madder at myself.
Yeah.
But that, you see, self-blame is just as much an ego defense as blaming the others.
Guilt and blame is massive.
So we feel guilty, you know, it's our own guilt. We go, I've screwed up. I've done this terrible thing. And the terrible thing you think you've done is you've destroyed this perfect love. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is no more. You've messed it all up. And the ego tells you that that is permanent. That is permanent. It's irreversible. You're guilty for this. Therefore, you deserve punishment. There's a false expectation of punishment appearing real. And that program of sin and guilt and fear creates all of the drama, all of the pain in your life. Because sin and guilt and fear require punishment, don't they? You must then be punished if you believe that. And then you manifest situations that punish you. People treating you unkindly, and you go, oh, why am I being unfairly treated? Well, you're being unfairly treated because that's what your ego wants you to be. You see, so it's a self-creation.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes it even more annoying.
They're the deep core beliefs that you really believe about yourself. You know, like this morning when I was writing, my core deepest belief was that I'm not enough. And it came up when I was doing the dots that you sent me. You could see in my writing to myself, it was like I was really bloody mad with myself. Like, why can't you do this? What the hell's up with you? And I had to let all that out because I don't normally want to confront that. I didn't want to see it. But I seen it whilst I was doing it. Well, and then then it was just that turnaround. And that's like, you know, that's what I love about the now. And I love that we can make these choices now, in the now. And that happened all in the now. And that just shows how powerful it is. But my deep core beliefs was that I don't think I'm good enough. I'm not lovable. There were loads of them that come up this morning. But it's all.
But you see on the other side of that, on the other side of the resistance is the breakthrough, is the miracle. So you were willing to go, and you went through all of that, and I don't know how many hours you spent on Excel, but maybe many, trying to solve it. But then you broke through into another level.
Well, I did. It was about two weeks, wasn't it? You had it up there for 2 weeks, and then the next thing, oh, I procrastinate, I do this, oh, I do that. Oh, the judging was unbelievable. Oh, I'm confused, I'm thick, I'm dense. Where did these words come from? You know? And that's how it was, just attacking me until I thought, hold on a minute. Then right at the end, it says, how am I blocking myself? What am I doing? And I was stuck in my own thinking.
Yeah, exactly. And so that reveals, it just shows you, these exercises can reveal, can take you all the way down through those layers, emotion, thought, to core belief, can't it? And it can reveal that and say, okay, well, what's the core belief that's behind the stuckness? Why can't I solve the problem? Because I've got a core belief that I'm not good enough and I'm stupid. And that underneath that is the desire still to be a separate self. See, you actually want that, because that separation gives you some identity. You're not then just pure formless awareness. You have an identity, even though it's dysfunctional, it doesn't work. You have something, and the ego is telling you that's much better than the no thingness, the formlessness of spirit.
It's like a comfort blanket, isn't it? You're going for your comfort blanket, but it's not comfortable.
It's a dysfunctional, comfort blanket that's actually dirty and moldy, but you go, no, I'm going to cling to my comfort blanket because chuck it away. You don't need it. It's not required anymore, because the spirit, the pure formless awareness of what you are, can do all of this for you. It can solve all the problems without pain, without drama. You can have clear perception, so you can have a happy dream once you've cleared all this rubbish out. And Lynn and anyone else, you're just going through that process, and it's uncomfortable. It's layers of stuff that's got to come up and be cleared out so that this can be cleared. Now there's a clear channel between your source, who you really are, the one self, the Christ mind. There's no blocking beliefs, thoughts, and emotions in the way. So it's all in alignment. The Christ, now you oneself, that inherently you are love and you are lovable. Your thoughts are completely different. You have thoughts of kindness, gratitude, love, emotions, the states of mind, or love, peace, joy, and all of your perceptions are different. And now there's a clear channel coming from the self, the true self, streaming through belief, thought, emotion into perception, and your perception is transformed. You will see the world, everything will be interpreted. The same sensory data that you were getting, the ego, that doesn't necessarily change, but you perceive it differently, because the desire, the core belief, and then the core belief that comes from that, and then the thought and emotion that create the perception are different. You see how this works? The complete transformation of your perception. And then by doing this, by perceiving correctly, you've corrected your mind, you're actually going to project out subconsciously. You program the quantum field differently, so that the kinds of inputs that you're going to get change as well. But you must change your perception first. You're saying the key to this, because you've got to change this core belief that then subconsciously projects out. So to try and just change the projections without doing this work is impossible. You do the work by changing perception, emotion, thought, belief, and then you've rewired yourself. Now your core belief is this, and that subconsciously goes out into the matrix and programs it. The quantum field gets programmed according to the desire or prayer of your heart. It's what you really at your core think and believe and feel, and that's what programs it.
So when I do that,
you manifest different things. Different things will come because you've changed the fundamental program. Yeah, question?
So when I do that forgiveness state, the thing that I have to keep writing over and over, do I just do it about the one core belief? Do I do one thing at a time is what I'm asking. So because you know, I don't consciously feel like I'm unlovable, but clearly that's what I'm, you know, that's what I'm getting back at me. So do I word it like, Lynn, you know, I forgive Lynn for believing I am unlovable. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I was writing, I, Susie, forgive myself, Susie, for projecting out what I was getting back at me. Like, for instance, if I had unlovable thoughts, it would be about unlovable thoughts, and it would just be as that. It would just be like, I, Susie, forgive Susie for projecting out unlovable thoughts. And then I just finish it off. But then on some of them, I ended up writing a lot more, like, I'm really sorry for really berating you, or you know, blaming you for everything, and I don't even know what I've been blaming you for, and then whatever. But I did it like that, really, and I've been doing it throughout the day, noticing if somebody said something, or even, you know, if I felt angry about anything or something annoys me, I'll just say straight away, I, Susie, forgive Susie for being annoyed about XXX, because I'm trying to just clear up what's coming up for me, because nobody else is doing this. I know it's me.
To just keep doing different ones when they come up.
Yeah, but 35 in the morning, 35 at night are good, but I've just been consciously aware that I just thought it would be good just to do within the day if something was coming up for me.
Yeah. So, you know, you can flex the exercise and see, but make it work for you. Lynn, in your case, you know, if you're doing yourself, you could adapt it and you could say, I, my true self, yeah, forgive you, Lynn, because it's like a character. You know,
okay.
see? So it creates that distinction in your mind. Because I, Lynn, forgive you, Lynn. No, it's I. You're not really Lynn. I, my true self, my Christ self, if you prefer. Use whatever language. My Buddha nature, whatever language works for you. My true self. It's the same thing.
I just want to write it so that I remember. Then I've got notes.
So I, you know, my true self, forgive you, Lynn. So this is naming the character, the personality, the identity of the ego. My projection, or a projection, for, and then name what you think Lynn has done to you for believing I'm unlovable, I'm a victim, I deserve to be unfairly treated. You name it in your own words. You know, what is the character Lynn done?
Because it came up today on the taxi coming over. Luckily, it was a really nice taxi driver. But we somehow, God knows how, we got talking about the vaccine. He was going on a cruise. And I said about how I'd been sacked from both of my jobs for not having the vaccine. And I didn't realise I still have feelings about that. Whereas a lot of the time I don't even think about it. And then every now and again it'll come up and I feel hard done by and angry.
So that's the unfairly treated.
Yeah.
Beware the
victimized.
To feel unfairly treated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But who's been unfairly treating you your whole life?
Me.
Yeah. Well, what you thought of as you, but you see, it's not really you. That's the liberation. Yeah. You can see the character, you can see the self-concept, and if you can see it clearly, then you're not it. Because what's witnessing it must be beyond it. So it's to identify it. This is another process of, disidentifying yourself from Lynn, the victim character, and recognizing that you are your true self. And that's all that's real. So my true self, forgive you, Lynn, my projection, or a projection, because the true self doesn't really project, a projection or a false self-concept. How about that? You could say, my false self-concept. You could say, instead of my projection, because that's what it is. For
Sorry, what did you say, Juno, instead of my projection?
My false self-concept.
Okay.
Lynn.
Now, I, my true self, or my Christ self, forgive you, Lynn, orally, put your first name there.
Concept.
My false self-concept for believing I'm unlovable, unworthy, a victim. State it, just state the case. What has Lynn done? Because that's the character that you're annoyed with.
Yeah.
But who's annoyed with who? That's the question. Who's really annoyed with who? It's just Lynn, the same character, being annoyed with Lynn. And now beating up on this false self-concept. Does that make any sense? A false self-concept is not even real, is beating up on itself for doing stuff that's not even real. It's actually all meaningless in truth. Doesn't make sense to do that, does it?
No, but it's times like that. Those, when the bit something big happens in your life, it feels real. And then when you're saying, or when I'm talking to Sally, and she'll be saying, but that's not real. It's like, yeah, then my head does the split, because it just feels real.
So you're training, we're doing these exercises, you're training your mind to accept the truth that it's not real. That's what the mind training's about. So you believe it's real, how do you change that? Well, you do mind training. All these forgiveness exercises, letting go, is training your mind to accept the truth, deny the falsity of the ego's thought system, and accept the truth. And that's a process. No one gets it overnight. Well, that's not entirely true. It's very rare, for Eckhart Tolle's awakening overnight, but it was 29 years of suffering that brought him there. And Ramana had a, kind of overnight instant awakening in a few minutes, but then he'd probably had many lifetimes. He'd probably done an enormous amount of spiritual work in previous lives. So it's a slow burn. It's just keep doing it, keep working, doing these exercises. And that's you're learning, you're teaching yourself to now believe in another thought system, install a new operating system in your mind.
I thought I had to know that now, I thought I had to know it for sure now that it's not real, but I just can't.
No, because remember what he says. He says you won't, in the workbook, he says you won't fully accept these lessons yet. But that's okay. It's it's a circular process. If you said, well, in order to do these lessons properly, I would have to understand this, then that's a circular process. You need the lessons to understand it. You need to do the lessons. So I think it was number 9. Let's just go there. A couple of days ago.
Yeah, because if you already understood it all, you wouldn't have to learn it, would you?
Yeah, read this. This idea, follows from the 2 preceding ones. While you may be able to accept it intellectually, it's unlikely it will mean anything to us yet. And then read from number 3. However, understanding is not necessary at this point.
However, understanding is not necessary at this point. In fact, the recognition that you do not understand is a prerequisite for undoing your false ideas. These exercises are concerned with practice, not with understanding. Okay. You do not need to practice what you already understand. It would indeed be circular to aim at understanding and assume that you have it already. Okay.
See what he's saying? So you need the lesson precisely because you don't fully understand. If you fully understood, you'd be enlightened. You wouldn't be on this course.
Yeah.
You'd be sitting in samadhi, blissing out, going, it's fine. I'm really not bothered. I don't need to practice what I already know. But you need to practice and do the lessons and do the mind training because you don't fully understand. There's all these blocks, deep-seated, psychological blocks to the awareness of love's presence that have to be worked through. So that's fine. That's perfect. He's saying just do the exercise. So read number 2. It's difficult for the untrained mind.
It is difficult for the untrained mind to believe that what it seems to picture is not there. This idea can be quite disturbing and may meet with active resistance in any number of forms.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just telling you, all right, so you're going to have resistance. It's normal. All right. Okay, so I'm not failing when I do this. That's not a normal part of the process.
Mm.
Yet
Yes.
that does not preclude applying it. No more than that is required for these or any other exercises. Carry on.
What, number 3?
Yeah, read the whole paragraph here.
Yet that does not preclude applying it. No more than that is required for these or any other exercises. Each small step will clear a little of the darkness away. And understanding will finally come to light in every corner of the mind that has been cleared of the debris that darkens it. Okay. I need
So
to
he's
read
telling
that
us
today.
just keep on practicing. That's why he's given us daily lessons, daily practice, all the mind training. Keep doing it, because you don't need to fully understand now. It would be circular to think, that you need to fully understand and then give you a whole lot of exercises to increase your understanding. It wouldn't make sense, would it?
No.
So this course is not designed for enlightened beings. It's designed for people who are not quite there yet, but have the intention, the desire to get there.
Yeah.
And he's saying, if you just practice, that's all you need to do. Even if there's resistance, you feel like you're not getting it, just practice, keep doing it. Because every time you practice, you are training your mind in this understanding, allowing yourself to just understand a little bit more. And you just never know when a major breakthrough is around the corner. You could be 2 days away from a huge shift. You can almost
Feels like something's coming.
No, I can promise you, it's going to be huge. It's going to be seismic. Because when you really see the separate self and it's exposed, you can no longer believe in it to the same extent. It's like, oh, I saw it. It's like you've taken the virus out and you've exposed it. And you've gone, there it is. I've shone the light of my awareness on. And I can absolutely see what that self-concept is and what it does and what its effects are and how it's worked and how it sabotages my life. I can see it with a clarity that maybe you've never seen before. And then it's kind of game over. If you've seen it so clearly, why would you go back to that and now try and believe in it again?
Yeah.
It's not possible. You'll come out of the matrix. So all of this is exposing that false self-concept. It's just the mind training to bring more and more clarity so you can see it. And when you see it clearly, the letting go will happen automatically. You can't accept a false self-concept if you see it so clearly to be false and so incredibly damaging, harmful, self-sabotaging. It just makes no sense then. Why would I want to carry on beating? I mean, you're literally whacking your head against a brick wall, hurting yourself, and then blaming the wall, which is mad. It's crazy. It just doesn't seem that way. It seems like the wall's doing it to you. The world's doing it to you, but that's not the case. Because it's your own belief system that's doing it to you, which then is manifesting in these situations, and then because it's the program that's interpreting them for you, you experience all this pain and suffering, and it's just not necessary. You go, I can actually be free of all of that drama. But then the ego will say, who would you be then? Who would Lynn be without drama? Well, she wouldn't be Lynn, would she? She wouldn't be Lynn anymore, because what defines Lynn? The story, the drama of Lynn, the story of Lynn, yeah? So you wouldn't be that anymore. But you see that you have to let go of the story of Lynn to be free. There's no choice. There's no other way. You have a choice. You can stay in Lynn if you want.
Yeah.
But if you can see that Lynn will never bring you happiness,
Mm.
I mean, it's what, 50 odd years now.
Yeah.
Has it worked? Has Lynn brought you happiness? Ever?
Bits of it.
You get glimpses, but it wasn't sustainable, was it?
No.
It was like a high and then crashing down
Yeah.
into a low. It never lasted. So it was leading you. Lynn's led you on a merry dance. Look, I can help you. I can give you the high and you go seeking it, but then there's the low. Because it wasn't coming from your authentic self.
Mm.
At some points in our lives, we've got to wake up and go, okay, so what's been guiding me is really not helpful. This is not a, as Yeshua says, this is a singularly unfortunate choice of a guide in life, to choose Lynn, the separate self, to guide you. Because look at the consequences of that choice. Look at what it does.
But that's what's so frustrating, isn't it? In this in-between place where I know that.
Mm.
I still go there. That's what makes it worse.
Mm.
It's like the more you know, but I guess there's the tipping point, and I've just not quite reached the tipping point. It's like the more you know, the more you're like, why am I doing this?
Because it's all flashing up. It's now the ego is in resistance mode. It's kind of it's defending. So it's got to come up with every defense it can possibly come up with. So it's flushing it all up and going, oh, here it all is, and experience the pain and more unfairly treated, because it has to activate your pain body, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, in order to maintain its existence in your mind. And it's going to do everything it possibly can. All the tricks in the book are coming out, but that's good because now you can see them. Okay, so there's the unfairly treated program again, the victim, the special relationship. Okay. And you have to get into your high awareness and go, that's just not true. That's not true. And that's not true. And that's just a whole bunch of lies just coming up. So why am I believing in any of this? It's all a false story. I don't have to believe in it anymore. And if you keep doing that, I'm not saying it'll go overnight, but you are weakening it. You're no longer giving it the belief that it wants. There's the ability to observe it and go, okay, I see, but it's not true. And then you let it dissipate. If it's not true, why would you think more about it? Why would you feel those dark feelings? Why would you dwell in this for hours or days or weeks when it's not true? See, the awareness that it's not true is the light coming in to break up that dark misperception. So just keep on. This is a process. You've done Lynn for 50 odd years. It's a long, and probably many lifetimes before.
Yeah.
Just different form of Lynn, was a different character, but it's the same program. It's the false self-concept. So you can't really realistically expect that it's just going to go overnight in, a few weeks, or even, you've been doing this on some level since last year, since you joined the program. But it's early days. This is the rest of your life, and you still, you're in middle age. You've still got 30, 40 years of life ahead of you. So you've got time. So be patient. It's like, okay, I've got time, going as quickly as I can. I'll be committed to stay on the path and say, I'll stay on this track. I believe this is correct. I know that, the truth is here. The course has it. This program has it. I've got the tools I need. I don't need to look anywhere else. I just need to apply them. And that's a systematic, ongoing process. Let me try and get better. I think your thing could be, let me get better at applying them. Let me get more diligent and disciplined in practicing. That would help you, so that you're practicing more in a more of a regular way, so that you don't allow the ego to come in. You don't give it those spaces where you forget the lesson and you're not doing any spiritual practice, and then it creates the opening for those kinds of thoughts to come in and you don't counter them quickly enough.
Yeah.
So try in the next part of the course to take your practice to another level, even if it just means, okay, I'll listen to a breath break. It's only 5 minutes. 3, 4, 5 minutes, not that big a deal. You can fit that in to your life. You're not working full time. You can easily fit that in if you choose to. Just take every couple of hours, listen to it, and break up the ego. 3 to 5 minutes. You can do that several times a day without really interrupting anything. It's just the awareness to do it. To remind yourself that, actually, I can, I can do this. So you can, at the beginning of the course, I gave a link to download an app. There's apps that remind you of this stuff every hour if you want of your lesson, or you can set it every 2 hours. I use the ACIM, the Foundation for Inner Peace app, but there's others that can set it so it pops up a reminder on your phone, and then you just remind yourself, and then you've got a breath break to listen to.
When you were saying that, I was just thinking I could set an alarm. You said at least do it 3 times a day. I thought I could actually set an alarm for 3 times a day, and maybe save the breath break to my phone or something. And
well, it's on Telegram. The breath break's on Telegram, so you can just
I'm
listen.
not very good at finding stuff in there yet. So,
well, it's just in the stream. So every day I post a message. If you read down, I'll show you. Let's just get out of that. I don't want to give the game away. So there we go. So there's the lesson. There's Jackie. So there's the lesson, right? So the format is it's under the lesson. There's the lesson.
Let me get the lesson. Yeah.
And then underneath is a little bit of commentary on it, like drawings which shares with us kindly. And then underneath it is the breath break. So you've got 2 versions: an 8-minute one.
Oh yeah.
Longer practice, 4 minutes. So you can choose. Use either of those during the day. So I'm saying 2 or 3 times listen to that one. Once or twice listen to that one. And then if you come on the live calls, we also practice it. And so just do it. I mean, that's 4 minutes times 3, that's maybe 12 minutes, 13, 14 minutes of your time. Not that big a deal in a day, is it, really?
No.
It's interrupting the pattern then of the ego. The reason why it gives us the lessons to do frequently is saying you don't want to go for a long period of time without the pattern interrupt all the time. Because this is your default thought system. And he knows this is very entrenched, and you're going to, your mind's programmed to think these kinds of thoughts. So you want to come in and interrupt that pattern systematically and frequently. And that's what the lessons do. It's breaking up your existing perception. And the breath breaks just make it really easy. Just, tap that in your phone. You can do headphones if you have it to hand, but you could do it while you're walking. If you're going on a dog walk, do it then. Listen.
Yeah, I brought my little earphones with me to do it.
Yeah. So, plug them in or just listen on your phone. Just be guided through it, and very simple. There it is. You just go through the guidance, just follow my instructions, and you're practicing the lesson. And yes, you're saying this is actually quite simple. Just practice as directed, and the exercises will bring about the release that you're seeking in time. You are programming your mind, retraining your mind to ultimately release the entire ego's thought system. So just keep doing it. It's just training, ongoing training becomes a part of your daily life. Okay, I just live this way. This is what I do. I practice. I do my meditation. I practice during the day, and I get into a rhythm of that. And that's just what I do by default. So it's retraining yourself to do that regularly. That's just part of your life. If you can accomplish that in the 6 weeks, you've done a lot.
Yeah, because I've got big resistance to that. And there's no reason why, but I've known it for months that I needed, because I've spoken to you about it before, but for whatever, well, you know why.
Well, resistance is the ego doesn't want you to do it because it knows if you do it, that's undoing it. So it's going to go, no, you can't do it, or you're going to forget, or you're too busy, or no, you're too emotionally freaked out, you can't do it. All kinds of excuses. But actually, that's exactly why you should do it.
Yeah.
the resistance and the emotional drama is exactly why you need to practice, so that you can undo that. So just do it. The Nike's saying, okay, just put it on, listen whenever. If you can't make the time and just sit down quietly for 5 minutes, then do it while you're walking, do it while you're driving, do it while you're cooking. You can be listening and do a bit of breathing and a bit of mind training in many situations that don't require your full 100% attention, like those kinds of activities that fill quite a lot of our day. You cook, you might cook for an hour a day. Okay, well, there's great opportunity. You could do a couple of breath breaks, or you could listen to the recordings of the live sessions. So do a breath break. Okay, I'm doing hours cooking, put on a recording, and I'll listen. And so it's like just reprogramming all the time, just immersing yourself in this field of transformation and allowing that to allowing this to work for you. There's these tools, and you've got to work them. I've given you all the tools, but if you don't listen to them, then they're useless.
Yeah.
So just know where it is. Look, and then going, oh well, I can't find it. Well, it's right there. Just look.
Yeah, I thought you meant we could actually search for them, but I can see it's just straight under the lesson. So I just
search for it. I mean, if you want to go to past ones, you can search on Telegram, but you don't need to. It's just in the day's stream. I posted early in the morning. There it is for you. You just tap on it. You're not actually, the beauty of Telegram is you don't download it to your phone, so it's not clogging up your phone. It's streaming live from the internet. So that's why I switched to Telegram a year ago, because WhatsApp is a nightmare. All this stuff comes on your phone, but Telegram doesn't work that way. It's all online on a server, so you need to be connected. It is using data, but nowadays with Wi-Fi and stuff, that's not a big deal. Just do it on Wi-Fi, or like a 4-minute breath break. It's like 4 megabytes. That's not a big, if you're listening out and about, that's not a big deal to listen to 4 megabytes of data, given how cheap data is. In South Africa, it's not as cheap. I know it's much more expensive, but in the UK, so it's no problem.
I've got lots of it, on my phone.
Lots of data, so you could listen to that many times. It's not gonna harm your data, and it's not going to download to your phone and clog up your phone's storage either. It just sits there and it's available if you need it. So and it's on the emails as well. As you said, you're not getting emails, but for
it's only 2 days. It's only 2 days that I haven't been getting the emails. I've got all the ones before.
So I just I'll tell you what I did. My response to that, because I'd done the scarcity thing and gone, okay, well I'll just delete my my stuff, and it's a mission. And then I deleted a lot of stuff out of Google Drive that was actually useful, like Google Drive. I had forms set up to do feedback on masterclasses and the course and stuff, and I when I emptied it, I deleted all. I was like, oh geez, that was hours of work. So I thought, okay, well that's a good lesson. Don't think scarcity. I went, okay, I'll sign up to Gmail's thing. It's like £1.50 a month or something, and I can afford it. So I'm like, why am I? It's not a problem, So that's an abundant way of handling it. Saying, and then I don't have to worry, spend all this time clearing out stuff. It's just I've got 100 gigs of storage, which will probably last a lifetime. That's a lot of email storage. You'd have to have. It'll take you at least 10 years to fill that up.
But interestingly, because I looked at those costings, and the one I thought, well, 500 megabytes isn't going to help me, but perhaps it will, because I think in photo sizes, I thought that's going to be no space. So I was looking at it like it was going to be $8.99, but I suppose 500 megabytes is probably all I need.
No, you get on Google, you get 100 gigs for £1.59.
Oh, that's not what I saw. So that's that's just me getting in my own way. So that's cool. Okay, I might do that now. Oh God, how crazy! So
they ask you to upgrade on Gmail space, which includes your emails, for like £1.59.
Oh, 100 gigabytes. Yeah, 1 month of 100 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Oh my word! Just goes to show how I get on my own.
You see how maybe you see how your program blocked you. You didn't see it. So I mean, 100 gigs, that's like more than you'll never fill that. That's so much. You can put so many photos and videos and all kinds of stuff on 100 gigs. And then you're not going, oh, I'm wasting time on emails. It's just all right. It's just like, because time is valuable. You know, you're spending time clearing out the storage. Okay, you save yourself £1.59 a month. But I mean, that's like less than the price of a coffee a month. So what?
You know, but the photo, when I take my photos, some of them are over 100 gigabytes each. So that's why I made that mistake. But as long as I don't save anything on
100
there.
gigabytes? No, your photo won't be 100 gigs.
Oh, it's
It'll be 100
megabytes.
megabytes.
Megabytes. Oh God.
Yeah, 100 gigabytes is enormous. 100 megabytes is 1/10 of a gigabyte. So if it's 100
my
megabytes,
brain totally got in my way. So okay, start the trial then. Hooray! I could stop deleting emails, wasting that the amount of time I've
and then you
spent
just
doing
waste
it.
time, and then you're like, you might delete emails you need, and you've got to just wait. This is a waste of time. I just need this to work. So for £1.59, I mean, Gmail, they give it's amazing service. It's how I do my emails. So okay, I'm paying £1.59 a month for a good email service, and as much storage as I want. Okay, so because I can afford it, I have enough. That's what you then saying to the universe.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I mentioned it now.
Well,
I've been going around in circles, not getting my emails for any longer.
That's amazing. I've just spent all morning deleting emails and then putting back in emails that I deleted in error that were really important.
Yeah.
I just missed some of that conversation because I had to take a phone call. But have you sent that to somewhere to Lynn or? Well, Lynn, you can.
I didn't send it. No, I mean, just if you go to Gmail and they ask you to upgrade or something, and you click on it'll take you there, and you can. It's £1.59 for 100 gigs.
Top right, Jackie.
Yeah.
Top right of your Gmail.
I don't use Gmail. I will.
Oh,
okay.
Or wherever it is.
Yeah.
It had a red thing on it saying that I needed to upgrade because it was full. And then I clicked on that and it set it all up. I don't know if it's different with yours, but my emails aren't coming through, which is a bit worrying, but never mind.
Okay, that's really useful.
I don't know how it works with Apple, and but
I've got Hotmail. Does that work the same?
No, it's not Gmail, it's Microsoft. So I don't know. They will have some storage offer, I'm sure. They'll have some, so just follow it and see. I'm sure they'll give you more space. Or switch to Gmail.
Yeah, I've probably got some.
If you switch to Gmail, and you've got
around that
15 gigs, they give you 15 gigabytes free.
Yeah.
But for Telegram, how much can you actually download with all the meditation that you send to us?
Well, as I said, it sits on the server, so you're not downloading it to your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the difference between WhatsApp and Telegram. WhatsApp sends it to your phone, so then the phone has to store it, and with the amount I'm sending you, it's going to clog up your phone.
Yeah.
So Telegram, because it just sits on a server, and then you just stream it from the server. So it's unlimited. I mean, I can put as much on Telegram as I want.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it's free. Amazing. These tools are incredible.
But for Gmail, you're talking about the emails that you can to basically save all the emails.
Yeah, I mean the emails, it's whatever email program you use. But if you use Gmail, then you can get 100 gigabytes of data for £1.59. I don't know what that is in euros. €1.07, less than €2 a month.
That's good. Per month, yeah, that's good.
And then you don't have to worry about storage, and you've got space to upload files to Google Drive, and you're not in a. I just didn't like the scarcity. So Google Drive keeps getting full, and then I have to go and spend a whole lot of time cleaning it out, and then I'm deleting emails that I might need, and a waste of time. And for £1.59, I mean, am I even going to notice that? No, it's nothing.
Yeah.
So all right, just do it and get it out the way, and then the system is just working, and I don't have to spend valuable time and energy on doing that. So That was my attitude. And then you're saying, really, okay, well, I'm believing in abundance. There's more than enough. I can afford
Yes.
£1.59. I mean, if you can't afford that, what are you saying to the universe? I can't earn any money. There's no abundance. £1.59. I mean, come on. So it's a symbol. It's a symbol in the dream of abundance. And saying, yeah, okay, it's fine. I'm not going to believe
More
it's
about
scarcity.
knowing what's available, isn't it, and knowing how the technology works. That's the issue. It's not the money. It's the knowing what
Sometimes,
to
but
do.
you just got to pay attention, because they try and make it easy. Google have done their best to help you to upgrade, because they obviously want you to do that. So you tap the button, you follow the link, and off you go. You put in your card details, and they set it up, and it's done. It took 5 minutes.
Sadly, Outlook do the same. They just stopped sending my emails.
Yeah, well, that's Microsoft for you. What can I say? Google, I prefer Google's services to Microsoft. I don't use them. But, well, actually, I do. I have OneDrive. But Google just seemed to be very user friendly. They've tried to make it very very easy for you to do. So if you could switch to Gmail. Then you just get 15 gigs straight away. So you wouldn't need to upgrade for a long time, because 15 gigs is a lot of storage space.
Okay.
If you do switch and you change your email, just let me know, and I'll update the system. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about the lesson, and a lot came from it. So it's all good.
Thank you.
So yeah, do join us on Sunday. That's going to be a good one, because it's really highlight all this stuff we're talking about in the lessons is highlighting the separate self. It's pointing to the self concept, and you're going to expose that very, very clearly, in a way that more clearly than possibly in your whole life. You see it, and it's not pleasant, but it's hugely powerful. You can do that, then the turnaround can come, and it's transformational. So that's going to happen Sunday afternoon, 12:30 will start. Might be quite a long session, quite a lot to cover. So just make the afternoon free for this. And it's probably the most important and powerful session in the whole course, I would say. So don't miss it, everyone. All right, so there we are in the lesson. Maybe Lynn, actually someone else read it. The importance of this idea, just to recap, and then we'll actually go into practicing it. No, actually, there's a bit more here down here. So this might be reading this paragraph. Who wants to read number 3? Paragraph 3. Susie, Jackie, Aurelie.
I don't mind reading it. Paragraph 3, did you say?
Yeah, as you look about.
As you look about, you say to yourself, I think I see a fearful world, a dangerous world, a hostile world, a sad world, a wicked world, a crazy world. Alternatively, I think I perceive a fearful world, a dangerous world, a hostile world, a sad world, a wicked world, a crazy world, and so on, using whatever descriptive terms happen to occur to you. If terms which seem positive rather than negative occur to you, include them. For example, you might think of a good world or a satisfying world. If such terms occur to you, use them along with the rest. You may not yet understand why these nice adjectives belong in these exercises, but remember that a good world implies a bad one, and a satisfying world implies an unsatisfying one. All terms which cross your mind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. Their seeming quality does not matter.
Yeah. Okay. So, any thoughts on that?
Well, the bit that I find interesting is that the positive ones implying a negative, even using the positive ones, which would be creating a better outcome, creating a happy dream, are still
It's part of the dualistic world. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
The world of opposites. So he's just saying what I perceive as a meaningless world, because opposites aren't meaningful in truth. Just apply the seeming quality does not matter.
So we talked the other day about gratitude and how that improves things. Presumably gratitude is still part of the dualistic world, but
gratitude and these higher qualities, gratitude, love, peace, joy, they point you out of the dualistic world. They point you away from it. So they still seem to have an opposite. Gratitude, there's ingratitude, there's resentment, there's its opposite. But if you just focus on gratitude, it points you out of this world into the non-dual, the pure formless awareness, perfect love. What he's trying to do here is he's trying to get us to undo our ego's thought system, the dualistic world, all of this judgment that we have, saying we use these exercises indiscriminately to start seeing that all of it, this world outside of you, is a meaningless world, whatever labels you judge it as. Remember, he's got the adjectives specifically related to the world here. He's not talking about an inner state of gratitude. He's talking about, well, I see a good world. It's an external projection still. So it's on the level of form. Now I judge, and that level of form is dualistic. Oh, well, that's good and that's not good. And so we have opposites. If I think something's really good, then usually in my mind there's something that's really bad. It's opposite, isn't it? That's what he's highlighting. So it's taking us out of the dualistic state. If you were in love and gratitude and peace and really felt that, then you're not in a dualistic judgmental state. You're just in feeling the oneness.
Yeah.
So it's a transcendent state. You're transcending the good, bad, dualistic judgments of the ego and just going into the pure experience beyond that.
Yeah.
But he's working here with the perception of the external world. And he's trying to show us, look, this dualistic perception, good and bad and stuff, actually, what you need to see to correct that is that it's all meaningless. Duality is meaningless. There are no opposites in truth. Whether you think it's good or bad, it's a dream. Is a dream, a dream is a dream is a dream. Whether you judge it as good or bad, it remains a dream, which is ultimately meaningless. And then connecting the meaninglessness with the upset. I'm upset because I perceive a meaningless world. But what really upsets us is the lack of meaning of our entire dreamlike existence. The ego's existence and its world has no fundamental meaning, and that is deeply upsetting to the ego. And it's always trying to make a meaning. But because its meaning is false, it can only invent more false meanings, which then upsets it even more because it's just another denial of the truth. In the end, you have to recognize the only solution is to let go of the whole thing. Stop believing in the ego, stop believing in an external world, and go back to source, because that's where true meaning lies. You'll never find happiness and peace and lasting comfort in a meaningless world.
Yeah.
You'll only find upset and drama, and that's how it's been your whole life, and that's how the human existence is. So it's not likely to change anytime soon. We see the pattern very clearly. So can you just accept the finality of that? Okay, the only way out of this is to collapse my separate self. I have to not be human to let go of being a separate self. I have to let go of the world and accept that I'm just the one self, pure formless awareness of perfect love that's beyond all of this. That's the only answer.
Yeah. So even if you get yourself into positive emotions, that is still
Okay.
dualistic.
So any rest is, that's good. So someone read number 5. What is meaningless is neither good nor bad. Someone else read that.
I can read it.
Okay, thanks, Elaine.
Sorry, what was Jackie saying there? It sounded quite useful what Jackie was saying. So when you get into positive, what were you
So I
saying
was
there?
just questioning. So if you get into a state of positive emotion, which you can do with gratitude or, you know, I don't know, whatever.
Love, joy.
Are you still in the dualistic world? I mean, you can think gratitude and not really feel it, but if you actually get to the point where you feel it, then you're connected with source. Is that right?
Well, yeah, but it is interesting. So if you were like, there's gratitude exercise you can do where you said, I'm grateful for what I have in my life, and you look to the external world to be grateful, you would still be in duality then. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Because I'm grateful, but then I'm in that domain, so there's always going to be the opposite, isn't it? I'm grateful, but as long as I make that domain real, is the alternative that, oh, well, actually something else happened that I'm really not grateful for. And then you're playing in duality. So rather go within and say, I'm grateful because of who I am, because of what I truly am, because of the truth, which transcends any illusion. I don't need any form to bring gratitude to me. See, then you would be going beyond this level of duality into the pure formless awareness that's in your mind, which would allow you to experience gratitude for itself. So yeah, that's how I would do it differently. There's some gratitude exercises and teachings that are quite externally focused. Okay. Oh no, we'll think about 3 things you're grateful for in your life. I wouldn't do those.
Yeah.
Because you're still playing in duality. Okay, well, I'm grateful for that, but if I'm looking at the world, then there's going to be things I can't feel grateful for. There's things that are painful, and I'm making that domain real in my mind. So it's not going to work. You want to go beyond it, and what true gratitude for? You're truly grateful for the awareness you have that's given to you freely by God. That you have this loving awareness. That you can be in the state of awareness. You can be grateful for that abundance that's given to you all the time. It's in you, and you need nothing else. You don't need an external to bring that experience in. That's now transcending the dualities. Just go into the state itself, feel the love, feel the joy, feel the gratitude for no reason other than that I am that I am. I am alive. I have this awareness. There's no other external. There's no external reason for that that's needed. Does that make sense? I think that's quite an important distinction to make if you're doing these kinds of exercises.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it is important. I hadn't really got that before.
No, neither did I, but it just came. So that's what happens. So okay, there's the clarity.
That one.
a bit of don't play in the world in the domain of perception. If you look for positives in the domain of the world and the perception, there will always be the negative to counter it. So you won't get out of dualistic thinking. You have to go beyond that into the mind, which is independent of the world. Your interior subjective reality, if we want to look at integral model quickly, just somewhere around here. So we're talking about this interior subjective reality, thoughts, emotions, states of mind, inner states, perceptions, immediate sensations, your subjective experience. Yes, you're saying just go there and you can find all the love and the peace and the joy that you ever wanted there. Without reference to the external world. You don't need anything external to bring you that. You can just go within and experience it directly. And then you've gone beyond duality, because this is not required anymore to experience those states. And the more you realize that, the more you go, well, I don't even need an external world. Why do I need an external world? Everything's within me already. And so you collapse it. You collapse the idea that there's a world and that there's anything else required other than your your true awareness. So this upper right, left quadrant becomes the portal into your awakening and your higher self, and ultimately transcending the human condition entirely. So this is the only one that's going to get you there. The we, you can acknowledge that we're all one, and then eventually I will blend into we, won't it? It'll just become, because it's one self. But it has to start with your own thoughts and emotions. It's your own experience. It's primary. So I subjective. This quadrant is the ultimate reality. And through the portal of that, going more and more deeply into that, you will ultimately awaken. The external quadrants can't do that for you. And the we, well, the we must be experienced as I can't say we experience if I'm not experiencing it. I must experience it first for myself. And then I could say, well, yes, I'd like to share that experience with my brothers. So then there's an extension out. But if I can't access that love and peace and joy in myself, how am I going to share it? You could be in a group, I suppose, and a group energy could help you to have your own internal experience, but it would still have to be your experience, the I subjective experience. So this is the mystics really go into this, because mystic realization is purely subjective. There's no external reference. It's just their own experience. So yeah, this is training you to go there and have these mystic experiences for yourself. And they're not actually so mystic or far out. They're just connecting with your true self that's been buried, and allowing yourself to experience the thoughts, emotions, states of mind, and perceptions that come from this true self. Okay, so where were we? A bit of digression there. Did we read number 5? No, we haven't. If you can read number 5, in the first couple don't need translation, so read until about here, and then do the translation both from here, from
So from the
it is
original. Yeah.
So read, just read. This is going to be the same until here. What I've highlighted, read till there, just in the highlighted bit. Then we'll flip it up to the original.
Yeah. What is meaningless is neither good nor bad. Why then should a meaningless world upset you? If you could accept the world as meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for you, it would make you indescribably happy. But because it is meaningless, you are impelled to write upon it what you would have it be.
Okay, so pause there. Thoughts on that? What's he saying?
We've just got a blank screen.
You've got a blank screen.
Yep, it's a computer that's
right.
Just being conditioned. And
that's so interesting, because it is meaningless. You're impelled to write upon it what you would have it be. But actually it's blank. It's just that you've populated it. You've populated the world with your own content. You're impelled to write upon it. I wonder if we should change that to project, write upon it, project upon it what you would have it be. That might be a useful translation. So you're impelled to project upon it what you would have it be.
either or.
So what you want it to be, really. It is this you perceive in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is this you see in it? And then just read the alternative as well.
Am I reading the alternative? Yeah.
Read the original,
from
and then
the top. Yeah.
From is this you see, yeah, in it.
It is this you see in it. It is
Okay,
this.
So you perceive.
It is this you perceive in it. It is this that is meaningless in truth. Beneath your words is written the word of God. Beneath your words is written the message of perfect love.
Yeah. So beyond your messages, beyond whatever you've projected onto the world, is written this this message of perfect love. I might just copy and paste that and put it into a Word document quickly. How do you translate this? Neither good nor bad. Why then should a meaningless world upset you? If you could accept the world as meaningless, let the truth be written upon it for you. It would make you indescribably happy. So that's all fine. Because it is meaningless, you are impelled to project upon it what you would have it be. What you want it to be. Yeah? So we project upon. See, the mind goes, okay, I'm going to project whatever my beliefs are onto that situation, and then that's how I'm going to interpret it. To project upon it what you would have it be, what you want it to be. Okay. Is this you perceive in it? Is this that is meaningless in truth? Okay, so that's all false meaning, but based on a false belief, then you project that false belief onto the world, and then tells you what it just reflects back what you want it to be, and that's meaningless because it's false, based on a false self-concept. Beneath your words, maybe underneath. Underneath your projections is written, the message of perfect love is, do we even need written? Yeah, don't even need written there. So underneath your projections is the message of perfect love. It's the word of God. Yeah. Okay, so you want to read from there, underneath your projections?
Underneath your projections is the message of perfect love. The truth upsets you now, but when your words have been erased, you will see it's.
Yeah, it means the truth. When your projections have been erased, you will see truths. How about truth's reflection? That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So truth will be reflected in the world for you, rather than the projections of your ego.
Yeah.
And that is the ultimate purpose of these exercises. Okay? So it's telling us what ultimate purpose is. It's saying the truth upsets you now. Why? Because it highlights the meaninglessness of the ego. And the ego gets upset by that. It doesn't like to feel like it's meaningless. It wants to believe that it's real and it's important and its world is meaningful and it's meaningful. And so the truth upsets it because it says, no, it's all meaningless. And if you experience resistance to these mind training exercises, that's where it's coming from. But he says, when your projections have been erased, so you stop this process of projecting all of your false beliefs onto the world. The only way of doing that is this kind of mind training, and the forgiveness or letting go. It stops the projections. You will see truth's reflection you will perceive, let's say. And that process is the ultimate purpose of these exercises, that mind training to correct your perceptions, which is the miracle. Corrected perception is the miracle, hence it's a course in miracles. And that's the mind. These exercises train you in that way of thinking to prepare you for revelation. So the miracles will help you to go beyond perception to knowledge, which is actually the subject of this evening's session. It's for perception versus knowledge. It's a text reading, so that'll be interesting. Okay. So I think that and then the rest is just practice, instructions on how to practice it. So any comments or questions on this lesson? Anyone? Does it make sense? See what he's trying to do, see the methodology, to understand why you're upset because you see a meaningless world. Perceive a meaningless world. Okay, everyone good?
I'm just thinking about, well, I suppose that when we've talked about Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning, people are always searching for meaning, but and I haven't read that book, but as I understand it, he's saying that you don't need to search outside.
You'll only find the meaning within. You know, it's the reinterpretation of the circumstances that brings the meaning, true meaning. Always. So it's an inside job. You must reinterpret the situation according to a thought system that is helpful. That sees that even if it's a apparently terrible thing on the level of form, that there's a deeper meaning. That this is about, you know, learning who you really are. It's about undoing your ego. You didn't come here just to be you know, floating on a cloud of bliss and all the time. You came here to learn lessons. You know, and this is you reinterpret your experiences. Okay, I'm learning, and this is taking me somewhere. But Viktor Frankl saw that this experience could be very helpful to him, even while he was having it. That from this experience, he would then embark on his life's work, and he was going to write this book on man's search for meaning. It was all germinating in his mind. So he had a deeper purpose. He could see beyond the suffering to a transcendent meaning and purpose, which only his own mind could give him. The external environment didn't give him that, because his ability to reinterpret it and go within and find the inner resources, the strength that allowed him to do that made the difference. Yeah, and Christine? Oh, Christine's just gone.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Wave goodbye. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, from what I've read, part of the reason that the Jewish people were picked on was because they were successful in the world, and so they would have had to have gone from, you know, on the whole, very comfortable lives to having their egos completely broken.
Oh.
You know, you wouldn't wish it on anybody, but you can see how it works, and yeah, and you know, and the recognition that none of us actually have any real control of the circumstances or in the actual world. We, as you know, you said, can only control.
Yeah. So Viktor Frankl then realized through that experience, the only control I have is of my own thoughts and emotions. That's all I can exercise control over here, because all the other so-called external power that I seem to have has been taken away. I'm a prisoner. You know, at any point I could be killed. I seem to be a victim of the circumstances. But I can change my thinking, my thoughts, and my emotions are up to me. The Nazis cannot control that unless I allow them to.
Mm.
And that was his realization through the really hard, harsh lesson, which he may not have learned that lesson as fully as quickly if he hadn't had that experience. So he would probably have said, overall, I'm grateful for that. It was trauma. It was really tough. It was the toughest experience of my life, but it's made the rest of my life meaningful, and it's been the catalyst for my life's work. And it was, that became his life's work, and he wrote this amazing book, and he became a global teacher in this sort of new arising awareness. And so that was the purpose of his life. Without the trauma, he wouldn't probably have had that. That's your greatest point of pain. I mean, this is very, very relevant for you, Jackie. Your greatest point of pain is also the source of your higher purpose. Right there in the seed of that pain, the transformation of the pain and the trauma is your so if you're experiencing that, then you're actually in a good place, because you're moving through it, and post that, your true purpose, which you've been looking for your entire life, reveals. And then there's a really meaningful, inspired life that you're living, because you're in the truth then, and not in the illusion anymore. But it took the trauma to facilitate that change from comfortable suburban, plodding along, not really that happy, but okay, we'll just carry on with life, to okay, now I'm an inspired miracle worker, and I'm really useful for the spirit to bring this awareness into the world. How would that transformation happen? Well, often it has to have a crisis to facilitate it.
Yeah.
So it's all perfect.
Do you know the movie Beautiful Life, La Vie est Belle? It was a French movie, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Because this story you keep talking about, Viktor Frankl, it reminds me of that movie Beautiful Life, where he's in a concentration camp, and he's telling this whole story to his child so he doesn't get affected by the horror of the concentration camp. So it's really, it takes you into that illusion actually of the external world, and it transcends, exactly like Viktor Frankl, it transcends the reality.
He reinterpreted it, and he did it for his son as well.
Yes,
his
exactly.
son did, because his son believed him. His son believed it was all some kind of game, and he was like, well, and then the tank's going to come, and it's going to, and so he prepares it, and it's played out exactly that way.
He creates a movie around the horror of the war.
Yeah, he reinterprets it, and he makes it into something fun and a game, and quite profound.
It is. It's a deep movie, very deep movie.
It is. I remember because I actually shared it last year, I think. One of our movies. So it will be one of the movie watching if you carry on in the program. But it was sort of headlined as a comedy.
Yeah, a drama, a comedy drama.
But it's way deeper than just a normal, it's not a superficial comedy. It's got a really
it takes you very deep messaging. Very deep. The powerful
reinterpreting, reinterpreting what is apparently a terrible situation. How do you reinterpret that and not not allow that thought system to overcome you? And that's exactly what he did, because he was a funny comic guy. He was like, okay, we'll make a game out of it, and I'm going to teach the child that, so that I protect him from the horror of it. He didn't get so psychologically affected because his dad helped him to reinterpret it, and and then he came out of it. Eventually his dad died, if I remember. But he'd given his son the gift of
there was such a gift. I mean, it was
and then the mother also her own journey, because she had to she wasn't Jewish, but she went, okay, if they're going, I'm going, take me, so that I'm there with them. She journeyed with them, and then she was there when the liberation happened to find her son, to make sure he didn't get lost in whatever. It's amazing.
I need to watch it again, actually, because it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I don't remember everything. But I remember it was a deep movie that shows you the illusion of the horror reality.
Horror,
a horrid reality.
he understood that it's perceptual. Reality, it doesn't matter what's seemingly happening.
Yeah.
It's my perception of it that gives it the reality. So if I don't perceive it as terrible, awful, and I perceive it as it's a game,
Yeah.
then okay, that becomes my reality. I can't change the concentration camp and the Nazi. They're going to do what they do. But how I perceive it, I can. This mind training is about. You can change your perception no matter what seems to be happening.
Yeah.
Through conscious choice. And then you can choose. Why wouldn't you choose to see a happy world, a joyful world, a peaceful world? Why wouldn't you choose that instead of the sad, crazy, upsetting, whatever else you've invented it as? Why wouldn't you see the happy dream rather, if you have a choice? So that's why we do the mind training, because we're so used to just seeing it as it seemingly is. And you say, well, look at what's happening. I mean, the Nazis were crazy, they were wicked, they were evil. How can you interpret it any other way? But he did, and so did Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
And that was what saved them. That was what kept them sane, and then allowed them, Viktor Frankl, post that, to come and live with he wasn't resentful, he wasn't angry, he lived an inspired life that was very helpful for other people, because he interpreted the situation correctly with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, and brought this idea of meaning into the world of psychology, that meaning is actually the primary driver of human motivation. And he's correct. That's the most accurate theory of psychology, because it is actually the primary driver, because it speaks to the very core of our self-concept. Who are we? It speaks to meaning, doesn't it? And purpose. Yeah. So good lesson, some really deep themes. We discuss it, and it's bringing all this stuff up into awareness, isn't it? And helping us to let go.
A crazy world. Yeah, that was definitely a crazy world, this concentration camp.
Yeah, totally insane. Insane, brutal, cruel. You could interpret it all of that, but he chose a different interpretation, which made all the difference.
I remember there was another movie actually when I was a child that I watched, and it kind of traumatized me as a child, watching this horrors of concentration camp. It was, I don't know if it was translated in English, but it was the ones and the others. So there was the ones that were they had to go to the war, and the other ones had to go to concentration camps. It was such it was another horrid movie on concentration camp. But les uns les autres. I need to check if there's a translation actually in English.
You can always reinterpret it. So no matter how horrible it is, you can reinterpret it. And that's the message of the crucifixion. We'll get to that later in the course.
1981.
Okay.
In 1981, 1981
Funny, I remember
movie.
that. I was living in Paris at the time. Saw it there.
Claude Lelouch. It was by Claude Lelouch, so he's quite a famous producer, realizator, producer. Oh wow, Claude Lelouch. Oh my God, I just had a realization. I think it's crazy because in my hometown where I am, there's a man who used to work closely with him, and I'm sure he was maybe. I have a feeling he was on the movie making. He was on the scene there. I have a feeling he was on the making of that movie with him.
Okay. All right. So
wow,
that's the lesson done. Shall we do a meditation on it too?
Yes, please.
Session.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a hey, what are you off? Hey, the dog's just got on the bed. Off. Can you see? There's hey, Sancho. Oh. He wants a walk. That's it. Come on. Come on. Oh. Oh. Come on. Oh. 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 Okay. Yeah. Give me 20 minutes and we'll go for a walk, okay? Good boy. He's like, it's walk time.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
are.
let's do the med, shall we? So get the recording going. Okay. All right, so just making yourself comfortable. Just sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. So breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just clench the sphincter muscle, lock the energy in, draw the energy up the spine into your heart center, putting one hand on your heart to connect in with your heart space. And draw the energy up into the crown of your head, just pausing at the top of the inhale. So it's a maximal inhale breath. Just scan your mind. Notice any thoughts, any emotions going on, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, constricting. And you're just going to let it go with the help of today's lesson. Say, I'm upset because I perceive a meaningless world. And then you exhale and just blow it out. Imagine you just letting go of that darkness, like a black cloud out of your mouth. It's going, gone to the nothingness that it really is. Letting it go. Blowing it away, the breeze of your breath. And you just pause here. And be aware of awareness arising, just peace, pure formless awareness. So scan your mind and notice thoughts arising. Any thoughts about the world, people, situations, events in your life. As you look at these thoughts, say, I think I perceive a fearful world, if there's fear, dangerous world, a hostile world, a sad world, a wicked world, a crazy world, an insane world, a threatening world. Maybe you think other thought, maybe you think a beautiful world, a good world, a satisfying world. Whatever the terms are, just let them cross your mind. The seeming quality doesn't matter whether they seem to be good or bad. There is no difference between them, says Yesha, for the purpose of these exercises. And say to yourself, but I am upset because I perceive a meaningless world. And then exhale and just blow it out. You're willing to let go of your existing perceptions, existing interpretations. What is meaningless is neither good nor bad. Why then should a meaningless world upset you? If you could accept the world as meaningless and let the truth be written upon it for you, it would make you indescribably happy. because it is meaningless, you're impelled to project upon it what you want it to be. Is this you perceive in it? Is this that is meaningless in truth? Underneath your projections is the message of perfect love. Truth upsets you now, but when your projections have been erased, you will perceive truth's reflection. And that is the ultimate purpose of these exercises. So just breathing in, breathing out. There's the air flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils to bring you into present moment awareness. And it's becoming very peaceful. Beyond all of these projections lies a deep peace, pure formless awareness of perfect love. As he says here, the message of perfect love underlies these projections, underlies all the false meanings we've projected upon the world. So maybe you can just go into that space of awareness, that empty, open, spacious awareness, and just observe it. Allow it to arise in your mind. There's nowhere else to go, there's nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. And let the truth come into your mind. Truth beyond all your illusions, beyond the projections. Allow yourself to experience the minutes of deep silence. Okay, so just gently coming back, this deep state into an awareness of the body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises and the subtle flow down. And do another deep power breath, clench the sphincter muscle. Notice all these sensations of the breath in the body. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Scan your mind. So just observing thoughts, emotions, body sensations. And any thoughts that are at all upsetting, anything difficult. Remind yourself that I'm upset. I'm only upset because I see or perceive a meaningless world. So if all of this is meaningless, why am I upset? Self-created. You can choose to let it go. So do that now with the help of your breath. Exhale. You let go. You blow those thoughts away. Blow the emotions away. The body sensations. Just cleaning it all out with the help of your breath. Blowing it away into the nothingness that it really is. It's going, gone. And just rest in peace and stillness. A gap between breaths is a gap in the mind, so go in there, notice it. So notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling. Your body touching with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. There's a smell in your nose. Notice that. And notice what you're hearing. The surrounding environment. Just noticing all these things from this very so calm and surrendered state of mind. So no judgment, no interpretation. You don't write. Yeshua says you shouldn't write upon the world your meaning. So you don't project your meaning, false meaning on the world. Underneath it is the message of God, the message of perfect love, just pure formless awareness of perfect love, beyond the projections, beyond the stories. So that's what he's asking us to open to. You can stay in that awareness, let that awareness interpret the world for you, even while you're in sense perception. So we're going to practice that now. Do the exercise with your eyes open. So on the count of 3, open your eyes. And so just look around. As you look about you, just say to yourself, I think I see whatever comes up for you, a fearful world, or I think I perceive a fearful world. If you have a lot of fear or anxiety right now, I think I see a hostile world. If there's aggression, there's conflict in your world, I think I see a sad world. If you're feeling sad, a wicked world, crazy world, and use whatever descriptive terms happen to occur to you. Terms which seem positive rather than negative occur to you, include them. So you might think of a good world, or a satisfying or beautiful world. Use the nice adjectives as well, because they imply the opposite. On the level of form, something is good, and it could also be bad. So you're still within the dualistic construct, which he's trying to take us out of these exercises, saying all terms which cross your mind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. Their seeming quality does not matter. Don't alter the time interval between applying today's idea to what you think is pleasant and what you think is unpleasant. Just do it casually, no rush, even pace. As you look around, say, I think I see, I think I perceive. Name the kind of world you think you see. And now to finish the exercise, just say, but I'm upset because I see or I perceive a meaningless world. Just exhale on the truth of that. Just sit with that for a few moments. Notice how you feel. A kind of calm detachment. You're in, just aware that you're aware. The judgments, the projections, all of that stopped. There's no mental noise, just clarity and the peace that comes from it. It's been called the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's not rational understanding that will take you there. So just anchor the state in and set the intention to stay here in this very calm, aware state. You can top yourself up with one of the breath breaks I've given you to practice the lesson if you need to. Maybe practice it one more time this afternoon, and then this evening we'll practice it again as part of the meditation. This evening I'll guide you through this mind training exercise and do it before bed. That'll be 2 or 3 more times, which is sufficient. He says, I think, do it 3 or 4 times in the day. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of today's this afternoon session anyway. So just so you know, the evening session will be at 6 p.m. UK time, at 7 p.m. Paris time, and 8 p.m. South African time. So you know, so in a couple of hours, give us a couple of hours break. I need to go do a dog walk. Hopefully see you then. We're going to be doing just a quick preview. It's this one, perception versus knowledge, which is pretty relevant given what we've to the lesson. And he highlights the difference between perception and knowledge. It's a 7-paragraph one, I think, so intermediate. So join then if you can. 6 o'clock UK time, 7 p.m. your time, or really 8 p.m. SA time, and we'll do another deep dive into the truth of the text. So I hope to see you.
Would it be an idea to make the evening session generally at 6 o'clock? Because it seems quite.
Yeah, I was thinking it just. I've now got to do some dog walking, so I need some time.
Yeah, 6 o'clock's a good time to start again, isn't it?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. It's not too late. It's still in South Africa. It's 8 p.m. So it's still, it hasn't got too late. So yeah, 6. We'll make it 6 regularly if that's okay.
That works.
All right. 6 p.m. Hopefully see you then. Stay in flow the next couple of hours, and thanks for joining.
Thank you, Jono.
Thank you, Jono.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jono, and all.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.